Hi, everybody. Hello, Face. Hello, Warriors. Everyone doing okay? Hello, Daryl, Eddie, Ethan, Eugene. Everyone doing all right? I even thought I saw Craig Hughes in here. Nice to see people that I've interviewed come in to check us out. I know Sheldon McIntyre does that. Hope everyone had a great weekend. Hi, Hardiano, how are you? Yeah, Jess, so if you recall on Friday, before the week data, we'll start there, Jess, in Euro. Hi, Gene. So before the week data, I said I thought there'd be a better selling opportunity in Euro up around 1830. So we got up to 1840-ish. And you have a nice little scalp here. You could probably go break even now on the remainder. You know, anything that I talk about, I really suggest anytime you have between 30 and 50 pips that you book part of your position. Do we have an agreement on that? Give me a Y. It takes all the pressure off you and the pressure off me. That I know that you're earning while you're learning, okay? So we need to take out this 1780 low right in here, this moving average for a continuation move down. The only thing that bothers me a little bit about it is that I prefer to already want to be short Euro pound, but I still think that there's a possibility based on this spike high here, and we're still trading a little bit above the wedge line. I still think there's potential for another shot up in Euro pound. So I feel better about being short the Euro when I'm bearish Euro pound. Everyone understand why? So was bearish cable a week ago because I was looking for one more surge in Euro pound, and that was the right trade selection. So let's talk about the pound. There is some divergence here in the pound right here. Possible that we're bottoming here. And this might be what's going to be behind it if the Euro could cave. I can't rule out another low, but if you look at it right here, this little spike here, pretty glaring divergence, had like a 40 RSI reading. Pop, then drop. Okay. And the Dixie, you know, which is almost like the Euro. This could be another failing rally. But, you know, when we were getting constructive on the Dixie before the NFP, I certainly was expecting more than this, you know, just this little rally that we've had here. Still think that 94.60 is possible. And this should have been enough for a pullback where this is A, B, C up to 94.60. So if that happens, the Euro trade will work. Looking at that, Canada, not ready to short it yet. I have a hard time wanting to get short the dollar yet until I see the Dixie play out. Here's a pretty interesting move. I said if we didn't have nuclear war, we'd have a big relief rally in the S&Ps. It started on Friday and really gathered steam overnight. We're up 13 handles. I'm thinking that it's a sale between here and 24.65, maybe a turnaround Tuesday. Never know, they could turn it here, but I don't think this 24.30 is the low of the break. So this could set up a nice shorting opportunity as well. The commodity currencies are under a little pressure with the precious metals pulling back. And I'm ready to take some questions or pass it over to Blake. I know Steve Volge's on vacation, so he's not in the house. Perhaps Blake wants to talk for a little bit, and then I'll take it back over for Blake when he has to go trade. So hey, good morning, Blake.
What's happening, Dale?
How are you?
Good. Just, you know, it's like the last couple of weeks of August they're always horrible. I mean, in my opinion, as far as like liquidity and, you know, like today is a perfect example of there's nothing no economic data today. As you pointed out, that we've had a little bit of a recovery rally. Nothing big happened over the weekend. You know, stocks have bounced a little bit. I mean, I've been scalping around a little, you know, just kind of keeping myself busy, but there's not any like big overarching trends that I see.
So taking 30, 40 pips out of scalps is satisfactory in this environment.
Yeah, right.
Okay.
Yeah, I mean, this is the type of, hold on real quick.
Sure.
Yeah, okay. There's not a whole lot. I mean, there's not a whole lot to do. I mean, I'll point out a few things as I talked about, you know, in the week ahead video. And the week ahead video, I mean, I think I pretty much laid out, you know, some of the key developments from last week. And I mean, if you're talking about the euro dollar, I mean, we know that as long as the euro is, you know, trading above 1680, then it's, you know, it's bullish here. So, you know, but what do you do when it's already bounced? You know, we've already bounced 80 pips off of that, or you know, almost 100 pips off of that level. It's like, okay, well, I don't want to buy it now, you know, when it's up here. So if it gets close to 117, maybe I'd be a buyer, you know, or you know, or
if you're out, what would you be looking for if it took 17? If it took 17 out, what would you be looking for downside?
Not much, just this line here, you know, which takes 116. But you know, but if you're in the camp that, oh, I think it breaks 117 eventually, then maybe you are looking for a short up here.
Yeah.
You know, but if you're not and you're like, well, no, the bullish trend's still intact, then you don't want to play it on the long side after it's bounced so much. So there's not a whole lot to do right now. I mean, it's you know, pretty as far as I'm concerned, it's pretty much like a dead zone for the euro dollar. You know, would I be willing to short like a new high, or if we got up to 118, I might be able to short the euro up there. I think there's other opportunities though. I mean, you know, let's take a look around. Let's just take a look at all these majors. So that's a euro. You know, it stays above 117. You know, you're long if it gets down there. You know, maybe that's a place to take a shot at it, or if you think it's going to break down, you start waiting for it to see if it can break. The cable has been underperforming, but it's not doing anything. It's like, okay, well, 50% retracement comes in right here at 129.25. You know, if you think it's going to go down, and the euro's still semi-bullish, then
stronger than it,
then maybe you short it at 131 on a rally. You know, again, you know, looking at the cable, not a whole lot to do here. Then I go to the Aussie. Well, we know the Aussie is, while it respected, this is interesting, it respected the 78.40 level. We know that. So we know that a break below that would be quite bearish, right?
Right.
Like that would be bearish. And I'm actually surprised it's not performing too well this morning. I'm actually
gold has taken a little bit of a clip today, isn't it?
Yeah, it has. And that's firmed up the dollar a little bit. But again, what do you do with it right now? I mean, unless it breaks through this 78.40, I don't think there's a whole lot to do.
Maybe everything's set up for tomorrow. You know, Mondays aren't my favorite day to trade. I don't know about you, but normally I expect some follow through from Friday and look for some reversal action to happen, you know, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday.
Yeah.
But yeah.
Hold on one second.
Here, buddy.
Okay. So yeah, there's the Aussie. Kiwi, you know, we still have this head and shoulder pattern. It's actually trading pretty heavy, you know, the Kiwi is. But
it's almost at your objective.
Yeah, I mean, we're talking 73 and a quarter, and then 70 or 72 and a quarter, and then we know that that's, you know, some support. So again, you know, what do I do with it here? I don't know if there's a whole lot to do with it right at the moment. The Canadian had a big rejection at 127.60, huge. Now we have NAFTA negotiations starting this week. So could that move like the Canadian? Could it move the peso? It's possible.
Yeah, right back to where both you and Steve said it could go to on the
yeah, well, this was a 38% retracement, and also previous low. You know, so yeah. I know that if it breaks above that, then it's bullish. I actually set up an alarm here. I've got support and resistance levels on ForexAnalytix set up at the same price, so I'll get notified whether it's on my desktop, whether it's mobile. I know that when we hit this price, it'll trigger some alarms. So that, you know, I'm already, you know, prepared for that in the event that happens. The Swissies had a nice recovery. The dollar Swiss had a nice recovery off the 96 cent level, but we're still struggling here at 97 and change. And you know, maybe we're setting up an inverted, longer term inverted head and shoulder pattern here, but the dollar has to, you know, the dollar has to rally, and the dollar index has to get above 94, which if you look at the dollar index, we have to get above 94 for the dollar to get any type of boost. And I think this is still possible. I still think that the dollar can get up there, but you know, we're not.
You're much better at fundamentals than I am, Blake. If Trump talks potential trade restrictions, or you know, any whiff of some type of trade war with China, is that dollar positive or negative?
You know, I don't know. I don't know. I think it's going to be dollar negative personally, but you know, that doesn't mean anything. No, it doesn't. I mean, just, you know, if I think, you know, if I think a lot of things, and you know, but it doesn't necessarily make them true. But you know,
but that's what the market's a little nervous about. I think he's going to make some comments about China trade policy later in the week.
Well, yeah, because I mean, I think it could be dollar negative, but at the same time, it could be inflationary. So maybe that's dollar positive. So I mean, I can make an argument for either. I don't, because it would be mega inflationary for prices. You know, any type of real trade war with China. But does the dollar react in a negative fashion? Is, you know, from a negative trade standpoint, or does it act more as a dollar positive because of inflationary pressures are going to grow or going to mount, and then the Fed has to be a little bit more aggressive with monetary policy? I'm not too sure. Again, it's, you know, I could argue either point. So if you can argue either point, it's not a clear-cut answer. So yeah, I don't know. I
was wondering if you putt as good as the guy who won the PGA championship, that 24-year-old kid yesterday.
Oh, Justin Thomas?
Yeah.
Hell no. I'm like, wow. I'm the worst short game person in the world because I don't get to play as much as I.
You get yips?
Well, no, I don't get the yips. I don't care who's watching me. I'll play. I don't care. No, it's just lack of practice. So, you know, that's a part of your game that is not good when you don't play as often as you want to. You know, your short game goes downhill. So like my putting's always off. My and
that's your scoring. You could look great from the tee. But
I can get on any green pretty much in 2, and then I three putt everywhere. So then I end up playing bogey and double bogey golf.
I figured since there wasn't much happening in the markets, we could talk a little golf.
Oh yeah, there we go. So, you know, I'm still watching the Norwegian krona. We had a big rejection of 8. You know, if the dollar is going to turn, this is where I'd like to be. You know, like this is one of those trades that I'd love to you know, play a bounce if we get a dollar bounce. But that's a big if. That's not a when. That's a more if type of situation. US dollar Mexican peso. I've been trying to scalp this thing to the long side a couple of times today, but you can see the dollar peso's come under some pressure. We're, you know, dollar peso been trading really heavy. You know, this thing doesn't have a whole lot of life in it here. And it's also going down because we're seeing a bounce in equities too. So as long as equities stay somewhat strong, then you know, the dollar mex is probably going to be under a little bit of pressure as well. Let's see, Swedish krona isn't doing anything. The Aussie New Zealand, this is a nice setup for a big cup and handle pattern, possible. Yeah. You know, it's got some potential, but we have to make a break above 108, 108.50, you know, to really get going here. And one of the things about the Aussie New Zealand right now, it's going to keep a lid on it, is the retail sales out of New Zealand came in a little stronger. Tonight we actually have monetary policy meeting minutes from the RBA. Maybe that might be a mover later tonight. Who knows? So that's possible. We had, you know, here we go with our nice recovery out of the equity markets. We're back in this zone where the S&P should find some resistance up here. You know, somewhere up here. Actually, let's do a little bit of work here with the S&P. Let me grab my fib. Let's go from the spike high.
Yeah, and I saw Grega's count, and he's looking for one more wave down, ABC. He said it was pretty impulsive. That break was pretty, you know, impressive to the downside. So thinking maybe this is ABC for A, and this rally is some kind of B, and then we're going to get a C.
Another C wave. Yeah. I think that's possible. You know, and maybe let's see, maybe another 4 or 5 S&P point. Yeah. Like a move like this.
Yeah, or to take out the low. Yeah, take out the low.
Yeah, I think that's probably what the S&P will look like. You know, going into today, you got to let the market open today and see how stocks react up here. Dollar index, again, this thing is extremely heavy. The dollar is trading so heavy. I know we're getting a little bit of a recovery this morning, but all in all, I mean, the dollar has not been able to piece together any type of recovery thus far. The yen pairs continuing to bounce a little bit. I think the and I shorted some New Zealand yen this morning above 82, and this is like when I wrote down what I wanted to do this week on my post-it note from this weekend. After doing my weekend analysis, one of them was short the New Zealand yen. I was waiting for it to come back up here, and it basically is finding previous support, current resistance. You know, so I figured the New Zealand yen would come up here.
Yeah, that and the guppy were the weak sisters on the yen cross.
Yep, the pound yen the pound yen hit a high of 142.75 or close to it. So I'm actually looking to sell a little bit of a rally this morning. If we can get a rally back up here, I'd be more than happy to sell it, maybe at a new high or close to highs. But I think this break was huge. This break right here. Yeah, of this trend line, it was enormous. So I want to be on the short side.
It implies new lows, Blake. I think we're going to take out the October lows. I know that's long term. It may take some time, but that's the implication of this.
Yeah, I don't.
I know you don't look that far ahead, but if you look at a weekly, it doesn't. If you look at a weekly, it's really was kind of a weak rally. I mean, it really didn't. It looks like it has much more juice on the shorter term level, but you look at the weekly and it looks pretty vulnerable.
It does, you know, and I'd like to see some follow through to the downside. We'll see if it can follow. The only hindrance here is the 200-day moving average is holding it up. But
and I think, like you say, a lot of people are wrong-footed on this because the formation before it did what it did last week was actually a bullish formation, ascending triangle, which would have given people more of a bullish bias, looking for an upside breakout over that triple top. and it happened pretty fast. So I still think there's people stuck along the guppy here.
Oh yeah, I agree with that. I think a lot of people have been trying to play the pound to the long side recently, and whether it's
And the end.
Yeah, and the yen too, but really the cable, and a lot of people have been whether it's short the euro pound or whatever. It's I think it's a good setup right here. Let's see what else is going on. Dollar Canadian looks pretty weak. Dollar Mexican pesos hitting new lows. Aussie yen had a nice little bounce. Kiwi yen had a little bounce to where I would think it would. Some of these crosses, I guess we should probably take a look at some of these crosses. This Euro Aussie, this is a currency pair that I think, here, let's get rid of this RSI here. You can see we took out a minor trend line, and if we break above 151, this thing is going to be extremely bullish. So it's holding up really well, and I'm not long yet, but
it's a 1-year formation, buddy.
What 1 year? What do you mean?
Going back to the highs of last year.
Oh no, this is the highs of
that channel.
Yeah, this is 2015. Yeah, so it's a multi-year trend line. So I wouldn't mind being long. I want to see it break, and the euro has been stubbornly strong, but it does worry me a little bit that the euro dollar is the market's pretty bullish right now. The sentiment is really too bullish in my opinion, so that concerns me a little bit regarding the euro. But at the same time, the only thing that has to happen here is the Aussie has to drop at a faster rate than the euro, and if the Aussie drops at a faster rate than the euro dollar, then we have a euro Aussie that rallies. So that's the flip side to that. So if the Aussie comes down and breaks through that 78.40 level, which is that major breakout point here, if we take out that level, maybe that's the trigger that gets me long the euro Aussie. I'm not sure, but this is something I'm watching very, very carefully, and I think could be a major break to the upside. Then you start thinking, that this is also has been in the past a risk off barometer. So if the stock market comes under some pressure, the euro Aussie could in fact rally as a result. Another big one's the euro New Zealand. I mean, the euro New Zealand broke out of this triangle last week. Here, let me get rid of this. We broke out of this triangle last week, and it's been hella bullish. I mean, and you look at this thing. I mean, you take out this dotted line here or these highs, we could spike up a couple hundred pips, no problem, in the euro New Zealand. So I like them. I like them all. The euro Aussie, euro New Zealand, even the euro Canadian. I mean, the euro Canadian, I played like a schmuck. I was so aggressively long down here. It was probably could have been one of my better trades of the entire 2017, and I played it horribly. I played it for a little bit through this move, and I knew it was going up to the 618, and I just didn't play it correctly, which happens. It happens.
What a tragedy! You made money.
I did, but I could have made. I knew it was going to be huge. I knew it was going to be. I knew it was going to be I knew it was going to break to the upside, and I knew it was going to make it up.
When I was a broker in Phoenix, I used to go up to the Playboy Club after the close, and the bartenders would play the song by, I think it was Marvin Gaye. If I only would have, could have, should have. That was, they were making fun of me. But yeah, so I consider any trade that's plus, you can max it out, and you could always say, and have you ever noticed you're always have too much on when it doesn't work and not enough on when it does?
Of course,
that's just the nature of it. Yeah, there you go.
So we had some comments from Canada here to resist Buy America type provisions in talks. Committed to a good deal, not just any deal. Those are talks from Canada right now. These are the NAFTA agreement talks. So some tougher rhetoric out of Canada right now. And let's see what the peso is doing, because the peso came under some pressure too.
Yeah.
So should be relatively interesting. See if there's any questions that have come in from our viewers.
Yeah, there's a couple.
Let's see.
I think Luca's got a good point, and that kind of goes along with your thinking that how important Jackson Hole is going to be.
Yeah, so Jackson Hole is going to be pretty important, and I think if the dollar index and the euro in particular are going to be, what to watch, because Mario Draghi, we're expecting some comments from Mario Draghi regarding monetary policy. So how the euro dollar reacts is going to be really important for Jackson Hole. I personally, I'm going to be traveling, so I won't be around. I'll be mobile, but I doubt I'm going to do anything, while I'm traveling around. But yeah, Jackson Hole is going to be pretty important. Luca said, good morning. Goonlock saw VIX rise and S&P plunge and yield spiking. We got a first leg of VIX rise on geopolitics rather than rates. Maybe he's going to be right on the second leg.
Yeah.
If Jan and Draghi talk the same book at Jackson Hole, which would draw liquidity, rates higher, VIX up, S&P down. I think it's possible. And I think the VIX, Goonlock was I think he was the initial catalyst to drive the VIX higher here. Kind of, sparked a little bit of
another breakout negated.
Yeah, yeah. I mean, it's the VIX, so it's very much like an EKG, but to have a sustained rise in the VIX, it doesn't happen. But to get this move up, this initial spike up, I think it was a warning shot, to investors that the market's a little too complacent. So yeah, could we see another rise in volatility next week? Absolutely. Absolutely we can. Robert asks, is Blake's trader room after this one available to us? Where can I get the details? No, we don't have any. It's private, Robert. Jack asked what my handicap is. Well, I used to have like a 15 handicap back when I used to try to pay attention before my second son was born, and then after that, so my handicap's probably more like 20, I guess, if I had to throw a number at it. But no, I don't keep track anymore. Not like I used to. That's why it's what happened when you only play golf a couple of times a quarter. Arif asked, Blake, could you look at the dollar Canadian, please? Or that was from Ash. And yeah, I mean, the dollar Canadian is very simple to me. As long as this, here, let's get rid of this here. Okay, this is a 38% retracement of this last move lower, and it is also previous support at 127.60. It was a big deal on the way down. It's a big deal on the way up. And as long as we're below 127.60, the risk is lower. But if we break through 127.60, I think the immediate move is going to be up here, towards 129 and 130, depending on things that transpire. So I'm actually looking for a break higher in the dollar Canadian. Personally, I think the dollar Canadian has acted very well, despite the dollar weakness in the recent week, 2 weeks.
Yeah, bottom before the dollar pop.
Yeah, so if the dollar actually does make a recovery,
yeah,
if it does,
good
then
point.
The dollar Canadian is prime to squeeze, because you got to think about all the people that are like, oh, the dollar's so weak, I'm just going to keep shorting the dollar Canadian. Okay. So So that to me, I think is a great possibility if we break this 127.60, you know. And Nitish said also the CFTC positioning is significantly long the Canadian. Yes, and that too. I mean, it's flipped from mega short Canadian dollars to mega, you know, to long Canadian dollars, which, you know, the market was wrong-footed when we were up at 137. Now the market could very easily be wrong-footed as we're below 130. So I think it's entirely possible that we rally from here. And that's what I'm kind of paying attention to. That's like kind of what I'm looking at. I'm not interested in shorting the dollar Canadian at current levels, although risk reward favors a short, you know, like, cause you know where your risk is, it's at 127.60 and we're trading at 127. I mean, you can short it now and then just put a stop above 127.60 if you want, try to target, you know, 125 and change. I'd rather wait for a dip down here to be on the long side, or, you know, just wait for a breakout to the upside to be long. And I mean, that's what I'd rather do, personally, but that's how I see the Canadian right now. Ride the Curve said, is there a way for your synthetic charts to show what the pip value is?
Yeah, I don't know.
Well, your broker, depending on your, you know, what brokerage firm you're using, should give you, there's probably a column that tells you what the pip value is. I don't know if the Trading View has it. I kind of all know them by heart. So I kind of know what the different pip values are if I'm trading Nordic currencies versus like the peso versus, you know, the euro. But your broker that you use should be able to give you that information. Retail brokers always do. And you trade an institutional platform like mine, they don't tell you because they assume that you know. You know what I mean? So.
And most standard contracts ride the curve like a standard contract. Every pip is worth $10.
Yeah,
Okay,
yeah.
so.
Right. Hey, and Glenn asked about the Nikkei, and just to let you know, Glenn, your package is leaving my house tomorrow, believe it or not. It's been sitting here waiting because I've been I'm actually going to the post office tomorrow, so it'll be on its way. I'll actually send you a confirmation when it goes out. So he asked about the Nikkei. The Nikkei had it here. Let's.
Yeah, Volgy nailed that triangle up there. With the,
yeah, we had, yeah, I mean, it was a nice triangle and break, and we hit the 200-day moving average, which just bounced off the 200-day moving average. I think you sell rallies here. You know, if you trade the Nikkei, I think it's like the yen pairs. You know, I think the yen pairs, you know, trade lower. You know, I shorted the New Zealand yen this morning above 80. I think it, you know, it trades lower from here. I think you can sell rallies here in the Nikkei. You know, maybe a rally back up to 19.7. You know, somewhere up here, previous support that should act as current resistance. This is a big, you know, big area anyway. So somewhere up here, probably it'd be a decent short. So yeah, I mean,
hey Blake, before you go, could I kind of like share a semi-racy golf joke?
Yeah, go ahead.
All right. Okay, so you know, you watch the tour. You know, there aren't a lot of Jewish guys on the tour. Do you know why Jewish guys are lousy golfers?
Why?
They have a slice in their putts.
That's so funny. My best friend's Jewish. I'm gonna have to tell him.
Yeah, I am too. So
we play golf. Oh, okay.
Anyway, so you know, I thought I could say it. I hope no one's offended.
Oh yeah,
by it. I'm just trying to you lighten it up.
If you're Jewish, you can. That's like me. I can say Chinese jokes because I'm Chinese. Yeah, I can go there. You know?
Anyway, you know, probably a lot of people don't even know what putts is, so you know they don't even get it.
But some do.
I know you do, buddy. You know, Stelios is here, and what a great day when markets are quiet. They have Stelios on, don't you think? For macro,
it'll be great.
telescopic. And I bet Stelios knows what kind of impact a trade war would have on currencies. I think that's probably his bailiwick.
Wait, before he does talk, I do want to point out the Euro pound. I'm actually watching because I tried shorting this last week. Didn't work out so well. I lost money shorting it last week. But we have this little ascending wedge. We're at an 88% retracement. So I'm watching like this 90-50 level right here. For a possible reversal. Flip side is you could probably get long at 90-50 and put in a really tight stop, but I'm just keeping an eye on it. I'm just watching this ascending wedge. It's the relative strength isn't going anywhere as it's been grinding higher. So, yeah, I've got my eye on it, not doing anything with it yet. But
it'd be a perfect time for it to fail too, you know, and then it would be a lower high from the 92 level, at least for a correction. The flip side is the pound's been pretty damn weak, so and weak against a lot of things. So we'll see. If you guys are looking for a pound bounce, that I think it starts here. But anyway, I'm gonna pass it back over to you, Dale, so you have control. All right, guys, have a great trading session. I know Stelios is going to be joining you in a few minutes, though.
Here.
Oh, hey, Stel.
Hey, guys. Hey, everybody. Hi.
Stel, do you want the screen?
Stelios is on peak cleanup duty.
Yeah, he's got a new puppy. It's always fun.
Yeah, can I have the screen, please?
Sure.
Dale?
You got it, buddy. Coming up.
And by the way, Stelios, how do your daughters like the new puppy? I mean, that's the best, right?
They absolutely love it. We already have one dog, and they just love the puppy. So
you know, kids and puppies. There's nothing much better than kids and puppies.
Yeah,
Super cute.
So good morning, everybody. I am back.
Now we know what you look like, Stel. Can you show a picture of your dog?
He looks exactly like me. Yeah, thanks to me. So good morning, everybody. Sorry I've been away for a couple of weeks. I haven't been around that much. I've been listening in a lot, but I haven't been able to participate as much. So to start, I will answer what I think, in my view, is on Dale's question about the trade war. I personally think that it can only be negative in the medium term. So short term, a lot of things can happen, but I think any kind of trade war will be negative for the dollar.
Negative the dollar.
Yes. Okay. That's my view. You know, as with everything, you know, with economics, there's a lot of automatic stabilizers that, you know, one thing happens which looks bad, but then it gets offset by something else. But overall, my view is that it has to be a negative for the dollar. I also want to talk about very briefly about the VIX and stocks, because Blake touched on it. And you know, I've been thinking about this for a couple of years now. I've been wanting to short stocks. I haven't yet. And I went long VIX for a very brief moment a week ago. Unfortunately I missed the big move up. I only made 2 or 3%. What was it? But still, and I'm thinking, what will make this market have a prolonged sell-off and a prolonged VIX rally? And the move we saw for Thursday and Friday, it was all on the back of North Korea, obviously. So if anybody's long VIX on that, what does he expect to make more money? Only if war actually happens. Because we're already pricing a lot here. So if this escalates, then yes, you make more money. What do I think the chances of this actually escalating are? I think they're quite low. So
I saw a thing. I think it was even the guess I'm going to have, Chris Bailey, where they had, before this recent tension, it was 500 to 1 that there'd be a war with a nuclear exchange. And after the last week or so, it's dropped to 100 to 1. So still not great odds to bet on. And then how about if you're right? Who wants to be right and make money in the VIX and then have to, not only go to Jackson Hole, but dig your own hole to avoid radiation? I made a lot of money, but I can't go outside for 6 months.
Yeah, I tweeted about that. I said, if you're doing a nuclear trade and it doesn't involve building a bunker, then it's not a nuclear trade. And a friend replied, and he said, yeah, if you have a winning trade, you might have settlement issues. so it's you're exactly right. You know, do you want to be right on a trade like that? Well, if you want to be right, don't put on a trade on a financial instrument on that. Put on a
you know, you go out on your deck and say, I just made $1 million in the market, and then you see a flash in the sky.
Yeah, exactly, exactly. So my view is, I think stocks are overvalued, but what is a catalyst to bring them down? I don't think it's going to be, you know, North Korea and the prospect of a war. My personal opinion, always. I look at the chances, and I think the chances are very low of that. So would I buy stocks? No, because I think they're overvalued. Would I sell them? No. So I'm just sitting on the fence on the stocks at the moment, and I have been for the past over a year. I only take very particular, usually long positions on specific stocks, but I'm not a stock specialist, so you shouldn't be talking about that. So the thing I always look at when I wake up is the Dixie chart, and we talked about this. Blake talked about this. I've talked about this before. This is a chart, and with these zones which I drew, I think, a year ago. So this trend line, I think we were on the webinar in May, and we were talking about this, when this is a very long-term trend line, and it touched it 5 times here. This is a monthly chart, and as soon as this broke, I'm going to go back to webinars and listen to it again. But I remember saying, you know, if this breaks comprehensively, we're going to 93, and then we see what happens. So we are there now, and this is I think this is a huge zone here, this 92, 93, and there's going to be a lot of battles in here. What happens next? It's very difficult to say. I personally think that on the back of inflation data, on the back of the general US economic data, I find it hard for the hikes to continue. Maybe another one this year, you know, because of the market was pricing, or probably still is pricing one, I think. But I think it's going to be it. It will take a big change, a big shift in the United States economy for this to continue, to resume. So I personally think we're going to see a couple of months probably of battles here in the 92, 93s, and then I think it's going lower towards the mid 80s. That's my personal view, and that's why I have a couple of positions which I like, which are effectively short dollar. Although I'm not actually shorting the dollar itself, I am long silver. I think people know that, and I like the weekly candle. Last week's candle was a key reversal. It was very nice. We're coming up against pretty damn big resistance here. So if this 17.5, 17.7, whatever it is, if that gets broken, then I think we are on our way. And that will probably coincide with the Dixie going below the 92, 93 zone if it happens. So
yeah, you know, just a measured move of that triangle on a breakout is $25 silver.
Yeah, yes, I agree. And I know people who follow me, they know I've been bullish silver for years now, and this is my 4th trade in the last 3 years. So I usually keep them for a while. And my first 3 trades, you know, people who follow me on Twitter will know, were somewhere around 20% each.
You know what, buddy? Next time I get a haircut, I'll mail the clippings to you.
Yeah, I need the hair actually. So this last trade, I'm actually flat now, but I was down a bit, especially on this big spike down. By the way, I have to say these are unleveraged trades. So this spike down, there was no margin call for me because I put no stops on that. So this was very ugly down here, but I just kept with it, and now I'm at the money and just waiting to see what's going to happen with this.
I know you trade it. Do you have a favorite type of physical silver that you accumulate, like Morgans or silver coin bags or bars? Don't you think people should also own physical metal? And
that's a matter of choice. I personally always want to have a portion in physical, and I like bars. I just
bars,
like bars.
okay.
Yeah, they're you know, otherwise.
Well, you're a weightlifter anyway. Do you curl with your silver bars? Do curls?
Oh yeah. Hello?
I'm here.
Hey.
Everyone can
Hey.
hear you.
Steve's here.
What's up?
Yeah.
Hello. Did you call
He's
him
a
from the beach?
workaholic. He's on vacation and he couldn't stay away.
Can you hear me?
Oh, we can, yes.
How's everything? I see we
Good.
have.
How are you?
Good. I can't complain. I was swimming at the sea. Now I'm in front of a swimming pool, so no complaints here. Just
Not
popped
bad.
by to see how you're doing.
We're doing
Yeah,
very
life
well.
goes, face goes on.
Yes, as it should, as it should. I'll probably I'll probably be here tomorrow so we can go over some charts. But we do see some interesting candlestick reversals, like in the USD yen, for example. We have a morning star formation so far. After retesting the previous low, Nikkei is retesting broken resistance. So this is an important level. I mean. The DAX is also doing the exact same thing as Nikkei does. I mean, it has rebounded and is actually now probing above the 12,100 support level, might act as a resistance now. So, a lot of things to watch out here at the moment. The dollar as well seem to be opening weaker. But has strengthened against most currencies. So I think by tomorrow we'll have a better view of if this is just like one day reaction to a calm weekend or something more than that. And we will have probably quite a lot of charts to look at tomorrow. But I really do think that people should be careful with volatility because. I'm not so convinced that volatility is going to just fade out again. So, be nimble with risk in general, because I think a lot of things are brewing in the market and a lot of things are happening here. And if you remember, Dale, we had warned that volatility at some point until maximum at fall is going to come back, and it's going to come back with a vengeance.
I agree.
Yeah. Good.
Okay, nice. Okay,
all right.
So I'll leave it to you. You seem to be doing great, and I'll see you all tomorrow for questions and technical charts. Enjoy.
Enjoy, buddy.
So, so two more I wanted to go through very quickly. One, Blake talked about already, USD Norway. I like the kroner, as people again probably know, as if they follow me. I'm looking at this this zone in dollar Norway, which theoretically has been broken, but it's trying to go back at it. So if this moves down, a little bit from here, say to break 790, which will probably coincide with oil popping as well, then I'm going to take a short of that. So again, just something I'm looking at. I at any point in time, I only have a few trades on. I'm very different to the other guys. I have like 5 or 6 trades on. And the other one I really, really like is Euro Sterling. And I want to play this on the short side, and I'm going to do a pip on this as well. So the way I'm looking at it is there are 2 levels from here. The spike high from end of 2016, which was 92.25, and then the big spike from 2009, which is around 98 or something like that. But this was like in the middle of the crisis, so a lot of things were happening. I think on a risk-reward basis, again, not looking at short-term noise. My trades, I can put a 5-10% stop. It doesn't have to be 50 pips, because I'm then looking for a big move. So I think I'm very close to putting a short trade on Euro Sterling with a stop probably around. It has to be past 92.25, because they might put a run on this. So it's going to have to be something like 93, 94. I'm going to decide on the level when the time comes. But then I think that if this thing gets going, it's going to break this trend line, and it's going to go towards the 80s. I mean, 80, I think, is a realistic target. So again, this will take time to play out. It's not going to be a weekly thing. But these are the things I'm looking at. I don't look at a million currencies like the other guys do. I have a few macro ideas, and then I try to find the best way to take a view on them. And I think the pound is one of the currencies that I think are most undervalued. There's been a lot of things happening in the UK, but I think it's just gone a bit too far now.
Someone in the community, Michael Beatty, you were correct about the recent rally we had in crude. Curious to where you stand now with crude oil, because I know you're bullish.
Yes, I'm medium term. I'm bullish, and I have said before that we will see $60 before the year is out. And I was saying that when oil was at 42, 43, or something like that.
Yeah, you were.
So we're on our way. Will it be 60? Will it be close to that? I don't know. I do think there are a lot of factors that can push it higher, and things such as, there was an agreement, an OPEC agreement. It hasn't been adhered to. No, nobody's cutting production as it seems. So what happens if they meet and they all say, right, we have to do it properly, and they have to at some point. Some of these the petroleum exporting countries, it's their main export. They have to protect their product. They can't just let it trade at really low levels. They have to do something. I put myself in their shoes, and I said, no, what if I had the business and I produce, I don't know, books, and there is a way for me to limit supply or to do something to make the value of this product of mine more expensive, and actually, make it profitable for me. I'm not saying, shoot it to $200, but they've done this in the past, and I think there's a big chance that they're going to do it again. Also, we have war scenarios, all these things flying. It only takes one major event for oil to just go. And
any idea still when Saudi Aramco is planning on launching its IPO?
I don't know. I mean, this thing has been talked about for months now. I actually don't know. I don't know what they're doing with that.
I think it's a big deal.
It is a very big deal. Yeah.
Because I think they're going to support the underlying commodity until they get this thing off and raise cash.
Yes.
So, I think that's, I know that J.C. Parrott's called me a conspiracy guy for thinking that, but it's just smart economics, support your market until you could get bag holders to come in and buy it. It's been happening for centuries now.
Exactly, it's been done over and over again. And don't get me wrong, when I say I'm bullish medium term for oil, I don't think it will ever go back to $100. I don't think so. Things are changing a lot, with cars, with technology, all of that. But I don't think, we have seen that $30 and $40 oil just doesn't work. And we saw rig counts falling. It's stabilized now. Rig counts have gone up. It seems to be stabilizing now, even at these prices. So, I think the equilibrium for oil is somewhere $55, $60, somewhere there. And we're getting there. Slowly, we're getting there. I could be completely wrong. It's just what I think about it, and from my experience of trading it and of analyzing it to the best of my abilities. So that's my view. That's why I also like the Norwegian kroner, because I think this will happen to oil, and then the kroner will break. It's on a couple of very important levels, both against the dollar and against the euro. So I think it's going to break those. My humble opinion. So that's about it. I think enough of my squeaky voice, and I don't know what else we can talk about.
No, so nice views and thoughts, and that's part of the team. The team concept. So. Any other questions for Stel before he goes? Chris Bailey doesn't seem to be here yet. Otherwise, I'll field them. I see
Arif is saying that he owns physical gold and silver. It's been a massive losing trade for the last 6 years, waste of money. Well, you're right. The last 4 or 5 years have not been good. But if you look at, if this is something that you're doing on an ongoing basis, to leave to your kids or grandkids, I think it's a decent thing to do. And also, I'm not saying go 50%, silver. That's or gold. I wouldn't do that. But I would say 5%. Yeah, that's what I'm doing. it's always nice. I always like to have real assets, something that I can actually hold, apart from property. So my dream thing would be to buy a rare Ferrari, but that's a million miles from me.
That's Steve's icon on Twitter, isn't it? A Ferrari?
Oh, it's an Alfa Romeo he's got.
Huh?
It's an Alfa Romeo. It's
oh, okay.
a very exciting car as well, but not quite a Ferrari.
Does he have? Is that his car?
He has an Alfa Romeo, a fast Alfa Romeo. It's not that particular car, but yeah, he does have a nice Alfa Romeo himself.
Okay.
I have a
Because
10-year-old.
you know what Blake says, people could be whoever they want to be on the internet.
Of course.
So I'm just checking Steve out, Mr. Volge out. And it's okay to have a picture of your dream up too, because that's how dreams manifest. You have to have a strong emotional connection to an image. And then actually a lot of people who teach NLP and guys like Robert Proctor says you don't even have to figure out how you're going to get it, how you're going to get there, if you just have that image and belief that your subconscious, unconscious will figure out the roadmap for you.
Funny you should say that. We have, with my wife, we have this thing called the dream book, which we write things. We write things that we would like, and it's not like saying I want to be a millionaire, but I want to go and experience this, or I want to see that, or I want to own this, but it's not a mega yacht. It's something much more practical, and we have that, and we talk about it, and we we visualize it, and it really helps.
Have you seen it manifest? I actually did a thing in Arizona before I moved to San Diego. It was called Dream Walk, and you drew a picture of your dream. And my dream was always to live on the ocean. Drew a picture of having a beach house, and I didn't have a dog at the time, and it showed me looking out at the ocean, stick figures. And within about 4 months, I was living on the coast in Encinitas, on the beach, had a dog, and it actually manifested.
That's so beautiful, man.
Yeah, so I need to start doing I need to draw a picture today. All right, there's a couple of questions. I'm still waiting for Chris. If he's here, he's not here yet. I don't see Chris. So I've got the screen back. So someone wanted to long-term view on Guppy. You guys know I'm bearish, Guppy. So I would love to see a rally back towards 44. But again, the way I see it is this looks like a correction, and I think we're going to take this low out. So, it's a Nostradamus call, Stalin, but I'm thinking 117. I've even seen objectives as low as 77 on a wave count. I know it could take years to get there. But I think 117 is possible. All you have to do is, what was this move here, right? It was 72 handles, right? 196 to 124. So that's how you get it. 72 handles from here, right? Or just, this simple count right here, arithmetically, 124 to 48 is 24. So, that's going to take it to $1. But then you have a great line in the sand. And I don't think we're going to get back above 48, but if you're a position trader, the 42 level was big, and then 140 is big, and then I don't see anything. I think there'll be stop hunts here, and the grand prize is under here, Stalin. Does that help? That's my view, and those are Pinker's view of Guppy. And it really only takes one. I've talked about it a lot in here, that you don't have to be in 20 different markets. That if you get the rhythm of 1 or 2 pairs, you just stick with it, and you'll get to know every important, and you always hold a core position. Who's that? Bama Broker? Oh, I've tried, yes. I've tried. He doesn't respond. I'm not bashful. I've asked everyone to come on, even Donald Trump. Who did I ask last week? That was I've never been I'm not afraid of the word no.
You asked Tom Dante, wasn't it?
Who was it? Oh, yeah. He's not big. I asked someone pretty famous last week. I forgot who it was. And yeah, I've asked Benjamin Netanyahu. You know, I look for people that have 1 million followers, and I ask them. So no one will ever accuse me of being shy. So I wonder where Chris Bailey is. Let me just check my Twitter page. Will have to be another time.
Well, I don't see him logged on.
He couldn't get in, he said. This system isn't supported.
Okay.
Okay.
Well, it's all right.
Well,
I mean,
no interview today.
It's a quiet day anyway, so.
Yeah. All right, so I'm going to wrap it. Okay, Ash, I'll ask Kim Kardashian after I get out of here today. So thanks, everybody. I think there'll be more to do tomorrow. Be careful with your short euro. Have your stops in. We need to take out that 80 level I pointed to earlier. Hasn't done it yet. And I'm with the guys. I'm really salivating. I'm really salivating for a short in euro pound, okay? But this is the only thing that bothers me about the euro short. So if we take out this moving average here, we should be on our way. But really looking for something to do in EG, coming down the line here, right here. I'd actually like to see one more high. You see this reading here? It's pretty high reading. It's 75. It's a little lower than this reading. But we could just go ABC here. I would say that maybe you have something going back, closing back under 90.70 or 90.80. But I'd really like to see this high taken out. And now that we've moved sideways here, if we get a spike into tomorrow and make a new high, and we get a lower RSI reading, I may make a trading suggestion on that. So enjoy your summer day, everybody. Thank you, Stel, for filling in. We'll have Volgi back with us tomorrow. Thank you, Blake. Thank you, Face. And remember, enjoy your doggy. It's really making me want to get one now. Still, you know,
Well,
God,
yeah,
I miss having the dog around. Did you get him from a breeder?
No. From we always get from shelters and from strays.
Oh, bless your heart.
Yeah.
So you saved him from execution, actually.
Well, I don't think this particular one was going for you know.
You never know, though. Yeah, anyway, you rescued him, so you know what? He's going to rescue you.
Yeah.
So anyway,
he's going to pee on my living room a few times first.
Here's what I think of dogs, and we all know it's God spelled backwards. But my opinion is that God made dogs so that we could have a glimpse of how he loves us. And I love dogs. Anyway, all right, everyone. I hope you don't mind my golf joke I made today, that you weren't offended. And we'll see everyone tomorrow. Enjoy your day. You know, kind of enjoy yourself during these slow periods. Do things that you normally couldn't do when there's lots of action in the market. Get out of the house and go to the beach, or, you know, go shopping, do something and enjoy, you know, because money comes and goes. Time is gone forever. Make it count. Okay. See everyone tomorrow. Adios.